Welcome to Kermode Uncut. If you're across the Oscar nominations, which happened last week, you will know that in the Best Actress category, all the bookies are currently backing Julianne Moore for her brilliant performance in Still Alice. Now, I'm a huge Julianne Moore fan, always have been, and of course, I'd love to see her win the top honours at the Oscars. The problem is that, in my opinion, she may have been nominated for the wrong film. We'll come to that. In the meantime, I thought this was a perfect opportunity for me to give you my top 5 Julianne Moore movies. At number 5, a comparatively early Julianne Moore performance in Boogie Nights, in which she plays Amber Waves. I'm sure you know Boogie Nights covers 2 decades of the porn industry in America, which sounds like a very racy subject, but in fact, it's a really sweet and gentle film. It's basically a film about a family, and in that family, Julianne Moore is the mother figure. She's not the starring role because it's an ensemble cast, but she is absolutely fabulous. At number 4, a film which garnered widespread critical acclaim and indeed Oscar nominations, Far From Heaven, a wonderful film by Todd Haynes, directed very much in the style of Douglas Sirk. Julianne Moore plays a 50s housewife attempting to break out of the restrictions of the white picket fence life. It's a very, very understated performance, but perfectly fits the strangely melodramatic tone of the piece. At number 3, a film which I really love, and I hope you do too, The Kids Are All Right. Julianne Moore and Annette Bening star as a lesbian couple raising their children who have suddenly decided that they want to find their own real identities. It's directed by Lisa Cholodenko. I think does a brilliant job with it. It's funny and frank and really, really open and moving. Which brings me to number 2, and the thing I mentioned earlier about Julianne Moore perhaps being nominated for the wrong film with Still Alice. Now, don't get me wrong, I really like Still Alice, but it's not quite Maps to the Stars, the film for which Julianne Moore won a Best Actress award in Cannes. So why isn't it in contention for the Oscars? Well, turns out that originally the company didn't want to open it this year, so it wouldn't have been a contender. Then it actually did do a run in December, but not for Oscar consideration, for Golden Globes consideration, because it seems to have been decided that it looks like Julianne Moore is on track to win with Still Alice, and they didn't want to somehow split her vote by getting another film which also was worthy of awards. For my money, Maps to the Stars is actually the better film because it's fearsomely nasty. We have a fantastic performance by Julianne Moore as Savannah Seaground, positively the most poisonous Hollywood actress imaginable. It's a David Cronenberg film, so obviously I'm predisposed to like it. But for my money, it has the edge over almost everything else in the Best Actress category this year. Which brings me to the number 1 spot, and a film which you may not have seen, Safe, once again directed by Todd Haynes, director of Far From Heaven. This is a very early Todd Haynes feature about so-called total allergy syndrome. Julianne Moore stars as a housewife who basically becomes allergic to her life and starts to retreat further and further from society. It has a wonderful score by Ed Tomney, which is really haunting. It's directed in a manner which is very clinical, very precise, very understated. And Julianne Moore is on screen for almost every single shot. For me, it remains her defining performance. See Safe. You will never feel safe again. So that's my rundown of my own top 5 Julianne Moore films. There were so many to choose from. I know I've left loads out. What are your favourites? Which are the ones that really stand out for you? Let me know.
So live in the moment, I tell myself. It's really all I can do. Live in the moment.